Exclusive contract novel from Feilu Novel Network. Showdown, I made the 5G advanced chip sudden. Huayao Group's high-end 5G smartphones have returned. Has the chip issue been resolved? Who produced it? The netizens are arguing crazy. The Ministry of Commerce of Xinjiang also turned black. Who would have thought that chips came out of a small factory? The young factory director, Lu Tianyu, is a time traveler with strong research capabilities. He transformed his ancestral small electronics factory into a high-tech chip production line. Zhengdong. Far ahead. Su Jigang. Chips are not enough, continue to increase production capacity. Meng Qingzhou. It's amazing. Ren Zhongfei. The light of China. Lu Tianyu was busy flying. Transform the production line, improve yield, and meet the demand for tens of millions of chips. Eagle sauce is crazy. Sanctions are completely useless. Do you think this is over? Far from enough. What is eagle sauce? Lu Tianyu's goal is to bring China into the vast sea of stars. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Where do 5G chips come from in Chapter 1? Seeking collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Parallel world, China, an event caused a sensation. Huayao's latest flagship mobile phone MT60 series has been released. Surprisingly, this phone is actually 5G. You should know that Huayao Group has been under long-term sanctions from Xinjiang due to its leading technology, and it has been almost 4 years now. Huayao Group has been striving to break through in recent years and has invested a large amount of funds. But who would have thought they would break through so quickly? You should know that flagship smartphones require advanced 5G chips. The chip manufacturing process of MT60 series smartphones is conservatively estimated to reach over 7 nanometers. Where did Huayao Group obtain such advanced 5G chips from? National Vibration. Friends are amazed. How could this be possible? The internet is also about to stir up a storm. Sleeping trough. Bull batch. We're taking off. The Huayao phone actually has 5G. Oh my goodness, this is a miracle. It's amazing, I knew Huayao could do it. Tearful eyes, I know Huayao's 5G will definitely come back, but I didn't expect it to be so fast. Far ahead. We continue to be far ahead. The internet is filled with shocking and boiling bodies, as well as endless admiration for Huayao, flowing endlessly. This incident is indeed shocking. The vast majority of people have not reacted. Huayao's operation is too vulgar. Not only did it prove that he had broken through the restrictions and proved his own strength, but it also made eagle sauce on the other side of the ocean suffer a blow. Especially, Lei Cuiping, the Minister of Commerce of Xinjiang, felt deeply and vividly that she directly endorsed the Huayao brand MT60 phone for free. It is said that Lei Cuiping returned to the eagle sauce country and almost vomited blood in anger. Of course, the voices questioning Huayao Group appeared on the internet the next day. Did you really break through? It's impossible. Strict investigation. Huayao relies on fraud. Huayao doesn't have any new 5G chips at all, they were modified with inventory chips. Blow it off, anyway boasting won't pay taxes. That's not an advanced chip at all, it's just a 14-nanometer junk chip. Just thinking about it, you'll know that advanced chips are not that simple. Wait and see. Huayao must be playing tricks. In the next 2 days, rumors about the Huayao 5G chip were rampant, and various theories emerged. The biggest question is where the advanced chips of Huayao 5G come from. Where is it produced? The technology company and related departments on Xinjiang side tried every means to obtain the MT60 phone and dismantled it. The final conclusion is that the chip is made by Huaxin Technology. But Huaxin Technology is a listed company and the equipment used is all from abroad. If it were them who did it, Jiang should have received the news long ago. If Eagle Sauce knew, she couldn't still be confused now. The possibility of Huaxin Technology outsourcing is not high. The question is, who exactly is it? At the same time, Mo.Do, Huayao Group's mobile phone business department. There are several people sitting in Lu Xiaolong's office. The whole room was filled with big shots from Huayao Group. The most famous among them is Zhengdong, commonly known as Zhengdong. Why was he given such a name? Because Zhengdong often boasted, some of the bulls even boasted endlessly. It is amazing that almost all of Zhengdong's boasting has been achieved. Zhengdong has become a nickname for Zhengdong. Lu Xiaolong is the leader in the sales of Huayao Group's mobile phone business and is quite a formidable figure. The two of them were in a great mood, with Zhengdong drinking tea and Lu Xiaolong drinking coffee, chatting happily. Because the successful release of the MT60 flagship phone was a great success. It not only breaks through sanctions, but also relieves frustration. Huayao Group is extremely excited from top to bottom. Zhengdong's mouth has not been closed since just now, and his ear has been grinning towards the back of his head. Leading far and wide without stopping. Lu Xiaolong said, "Lao Yu, can you sleep well this time?" Zhengdong waved his hand and said, "It's still a long time ago, where are we going?" Lu Xiaolong understood what Zhengdong meant. Now that MT60 has just been released, it is normal for it to cause a sensation. But this is not the time for a celebration banquet, there are still many things to do. Mobile phone release is not the goal, it must seize the market as quickly as possible, especially in the high-end mobile phone market. You should know that during the peak period of Huayao smartphones, 2,400 phones were sold throughout the year, just one step away from being the world's number one. Now, due to the Falcon sauce, the annual shipment volume of Huayao phones is only 30 million units. Now that advanced 5G chips have broken through, reclaiming lost ground has become the main goal. Those who cannot kill me will only make me stronger. I must take back what I have lost. Everyone at Huayao Group is ready for a big fight. At this moment, the office door opened. Lu Xiaolong's assistant Lucy came in. Lucy looked quite anxious and said, "Mr. Lu, many media outlets have called to interview you." "What media?" "There are Science and Technology Daily, Jimu News, Global Times, Southern Weekend." Lucy said a lot, in addition to online media, there are even a lot of self-media. Lu Xiaolong hesitated for a moment and immediately replied, "We've all pushed it, so we won't be accepting interviews for now." Lucy responded and went out. Zhengdong felt the phone in his pocket shaking wildly. He took out his phone, opened the screen and looked silly. In just a short while, more than 10 missed calls. WeChat received even more. "Mr. Yu, congratulations. The 5G chip has finally been released. When will it be convenient to come out for a meal?" "Lao Yu, to be honest, where did the chip come from?" "Let me reveal, where was the chip made? Is it really Huaxin Technology?" "Mr. Yu, do you remember me? I'm Lisa, a journalist from Phoenix Net. Do you have time to give me an interview? I'm really far ahead this time. Don't talk nonsense, when will you come out for a drink?" WeChat is still receiving, which is very scary. Zhengdong quickly turned off the screen. "Good guy, it's so crazy." At this moment, the landline in the office rang. Lu Xiaolong picked it up, his face mixed with worry and joy. When Lu Xiaolong hung up the phone, Zhengdong asked, "What's wrong?" Lu Xiaolong said, "Lao Yu, all channels have been exposed." "Ah. Goods, phones, they're not selling enough. They're all asking for goods." Zhengdong walked back and forth in the office twice and said, "Call Mr. Lu immediately. I hope he can improve chip production capacity as soon as possible." Chapter 2. Small and dilapidated factories in Xiongzhou New Area, for collection. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. At the same time, Xiongzhou New Area. This new district has just been established and has only been around for about 6 years. Many places are still construction sites and the construction is not yet completed. At this time, Xiongzhou New District is located in the suburbs. This place appears somewhat desolate, with a large area of factory buildings. Although a new area has been established, it has not yet been demolished and looks like it is in ruins. Most of these are low-end industries that are destined to be eliminated, but some factories are still operating. Lu Tianyu's family runs an electronics factory that specializes in making circuit boards. Of course, this is not a high-end industry. Especially in recent years, it seems that the economy is not very prosperous, and factories cannot make money at all. After the establishment of the new district, they are preparing to close down. But the situation is different now. Lu Tianyu took over the factory from his father and spent 2 months renovating it. Although the exterior of the factory is very dilapidated, its interior has completely changed and has become a high-tech factory to the fullest. At this moment, Lu Tianyu sitting in the office was drinking coffee. The machinery and equipment in the factory are running and maintaining a 24-hour production status. Cannot stop, completely cannot stop. Otherwise, the items ordered by the customer will not be available. And this production line is very advanced, and can even be called a black light factory. Only a dozen technical employees are needed for daily maintenance. This was all handled by Lu Tianyu alone. He is indeed not an ordinary person. He crossed over from another plane, and in the original world, he was a genius scientist who had achieved many accomplishments. We have arrived here. Lu Tianyu suddenly realized that his knowledge could still be applied, even like a fish in water. What kind of things can the high-tech factory he established produce? It's the advanced chip. At present, it is an advanced chip in the 5 to 7 nanometer process. For Huaxia, this is a super technology factory that can shock the technology industry, even the whole country. Prior to this, only Huaxin Technology could barely produce 7 nanometer chips in China. Why do we say, barely? Because the yield is not high, it can only be produced in small quantities, which is not cost-effective for large-scale commercial use. This is also the confidence of Eagle Sauce. Who would have thought that Huaxia would come up with such an anomaly as Lu Tianyu, who easily built an advanced process chip production line? However, this production line is not yet mature, and Lu Tianyu still needs to further upgrade the production line. There are many things to do. The current production line scale is not large, and production capacity should be very tight. The demand for Huayao Group must be very high, and it may be astronomical. Lu Tianyu took 2 sips of coffee to refresh himself. He picked up his phone again to read the news on it. Good guy, the more you look at it, the more frightened you become. Lu Tianyu could have thought that Huayao's new flagship phone would explode, but he didn't expect it to be so explosive. Lu Tianyu was both pleased and surprised. It seems that the production line needs to be upgraded as soon as possible. Just then, a phone call came in. Caller ID, Mr. Yu. Lu Tianyu's heart twitched and he immediately picked it up. Hello, Mr. Yu. Mr. Lu, what about the goods? When can they be delivered? Lu Tianyu felt happy in his heart, and the other party was indeed very anxious. It goes without saying who Yu is. Yu Zhengdong did indeed personally call to request the goods. And it's even faster than Lu Tianyu imagined. Lu Tianyu said, Mr. Yu, this batch of goods is expected to be picked up the day after tomorrow. Yu. Before Lu Tianyu could finish speaking, he was interrupted by Yu Zhengdong. Mr. Lu, no, brother Lu, can I send a car to pull it tomorrow? Lu Tianyu had a headache, but still said, Mr. Yu, don't worry. Yu Zhengdong sighed and said, can I not be in a hurry? The orders have all exploded. Mr. Yu, how many orders are there now? An hour ago, it exceeded 15 million. Lu Tianyu was startled. I didn't expect the order volume to be so high. 15 million mobile phones require 15 million chips. No wonder Zhengdong is so anxious, the demand is too high now. Fortunately, I have been saving up for a while now and should be able to hold on for a few days. Lu Tianyu said, Mr. Yu, I'll try my best to finish it. Zhengdong said, Brother Lu, no matter how much we can complete tomorrow, we will go and collect it. Okay, no problem. Lu Tianyu also agreed happily, with the main goal of sharing the worries for Huayao. Zhengdong was very happy and said, Brother Lu, thank you. I will send you the payment for this batch of goods in advance. It's not urgent. Zhengdong didn't say much, just a few words before hanging up the phone. Now Zhengdong should have endless meetings, some are busy. Lu Tianyu came to the window, and below was the factory building. The whole thing is dust-free. The level of automation has also almost reached full capacity. At this point, the production line has already reached full capacity, continuously processing wafers, etching, lithography, slicing, and even packaging processes can be completed. If a wafer manufacturing expert witnessed this scene firsthand, they would definitely be frightened. Such an efficient production line, let alone in China, even the whole world cannot find a second one. Especially that lithography machine, the technology is quite advanced, and it's hard to tell where it was made. It's normal, this is all written by Lu Tianyu. Using the entire production line saves time, energy, and people, and even eliminates the need for non-adhesive, making it green and environmentally friendly. However, the current scale is still too small, and only 100 wafers can be produced per day. A 12-inch wafer can cut 500 chips. 100 chips make up 50,000 chips. Of course, this is the most ideal situation. Because there is a saying about yield in chip manufacturing. The world's largest and most powerful wafer company, TSMC, produces 5-nanometer chips with a yield rate of up to 90%. How much can Lu Tianyu reach here? What he said to Huayao is that it can reach 80%. This has stunned the people on Huayao's side, especially Zhengdong, who was overjoyed. Normally, a chip with a yield rate of 70% can meet market requirements, but the finished product is slightly higher. A yield rate of 80% is not to mention, there is no problem with mass production and market launch. In fact, this is a low-key statement by Lu Tianyu. With his high level of expertise, the yield rate has approached 90%. In other words, it almost equaled the yield level of the 5-nanometer process of Shimonoseki Electric. This is not the limit, far from it. Lu Tianyu continued to debug and even managed to increase the yield rate to the full level. At this moment, the phone rang a beep. Received a text message. Huaxia Bank. Your account has just received a remittance of 280 million Huaxia yuan. If you have any questions, please call the official customer service hotline of Huaxia Bank. The payment from Huayao Group has been transferred. Chapter 3. Insufficient chip capacity and tight production, seeking. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Yu's mouth is really urgent. Just as I put down the phone, the payment was called over. 280 million Chinese yuan, this is a huge sum of money. But for wafer manufacturing, this money is not too much either. The cost of one 5-nanometer advanced Kirin chip produced by Huayao Group was as high as $50. At the original exchange rate, it would cost 300 yuan to convert to Huaxia yuan. The shipment volume of this batch of chips to Huayao Group is 1 million, which is 300 million yuan. Lu Tianyu only received 280 million yuan, which can be said to have given a considerable discount. The production line scale on Lu Tianyu's side is not sufficient, and although the technology is advanced, the cost is not low, so a large part of this payment still needs to be invested. Even so, the profit is still substantial. High technology means high profits. You should know that this factory couldn't continue before, that's why Lu Qianyu took over. Now it's good, the factory has not only turned losses into profits, but also grown and strengthened. But now is not the time to slack off. The orders for Huayao's new phones have exceeded 15 million, which is too impressive. We need 15 million chips now, and we may need 30 to 40 million chips in the future. The urgent task is to further upgrade the production line and continue to expand it when appropriate. In short, production capacity is crucial. Lu Qianyu looked at the running production line from the window, pondering how to improve the function of the squeezing production line. At this moment, someone knocked on the door. A girl came in. This girl's name is Lu Yali, she is very good-looking and has been working in this factory for over a year. Lu Yali used to be an assistant to the factory director. Last year, the factory was about to close down, and she was mentally prepared to look for a new job. I didn't expect Lu Qianyu to take over and continue working on it. But currently, Lu Yali and most of the employees are not very clear about the efficiency of the factory. Just being a monk for a day, hitting the clock for a whole day. They thought the factory would close down at any time. At this moment, Lu Yali's face was full of sadness. Lu Qianyu asked, "What's wrong? What's going on?" Lu Yali said, "It's Wang Depeng and the others who are looking for trouble again." "Find trouble?" "Yeah, they want to leave." Lu Qianyu exclaimed, "Then let them go." Wang Depeng is a veteran technical worker in the factory, with a very good level and the highest salary. But in the past 2 years, the factory's efficiency has not been good, so Wang Depeng wants to leave, and Lu Qianyu's father, Lu Xuan, has been blocking him. Wang Depeng is the backbone of the factory. If he really leaves, he won't be able to do a lot of work. However, since Lu Qianyu took over the factory, he has not paid much attention to Wang Depeng. Wang Depeng was also very reckless and disappeared for a while, not knowing what to do. "I guess I went to find a place to stay." Lu Yali was stunned. "Boss, are you really letting him go?" "Let him go." But what? He wants compensation." Lu Qianyu frowned and said, "He voluntarily offered to resign and also wants compensation." Lu Yali said it was the condition promised to him by the old factory director. The mainland is naturally the father of Lu Qianyu, Lu Xuan. Wang Depeng is a big shot in the factory, and Lu Xuan did give him many benefits in order to retain him. "Where is he?" asked Lu Qianyu. Lu Yali said, "In the conference room." "I'll go talk to him." Lu Qianyu stood up and walked out, with Lu Yali closely following behind. As she walked, she said, "Boss, Wang Depeng, please compensate him with 6 months' salary." Lu Qianyu hesitated for a moment and said, "Did my dad promise him this height?" Lu Yali shook her head and said, "I don't know either. He said it himself." "How about you ask the old factory director?" Lu Qianyu nodded and said, "I understand. Let me handle it." Entering the conference room, Wang Depeng sat there with a big grin, along with a few other employees. These employees can be considered as Wang Depeng's confidants. What does Wang Depeng do? What do they do? They specialize in being a follower. Wang Depeng glanced at Lu Qianyu and casually said, "Mr. Lu, I'm sorry. I happened to be free today and came over." Lu Qianyu remained silent and sat opposite Wang Depeng. Everyone knows that only the old factory director Lu Xuan can manage Wang Depeng. He relied on his old age and qualifications, and was not at all convinced by Lu Qianyu's young age. The purpose of coming over today is to make things difficult for Lu Qianyu. Let's take a look. Without a technical backbone like Wang Depeng, Lu Qianyu is nothing in the factory. Wang Depeng's salary is the highest in the factory. If he leaves happily, he will be given 6 months of compensation. Given the current situation in the factory, it is difficult to pay wages normally, let alone offer such high compensation to Wang Depeng. The key is that there are also a few younger brothers from Wang Depeng, and they need to be given some help. Let me clarify. Just this money alone will make Lu Tianyu kneel on the ground on the spot. Not to mention the previous miscellaneous overtime pay that was not given. But to the surprise of Wang Depeng and others, Lu Tianyu didn't look flustered at all. It's also right to think about it. As the new factory director, we have to put on a new outfit no matter what. It's just a bluff. There was some commotion outside the meeting room, and when Lu Tianyu turned around, someone was peeking inside. It's other employees in the factory. Curiosity, watching the excitement. They want to know how the young factory director, Lu Tianyu, will handle Wang Depeng's matter. Lu Yali quickly stood up, wanting to go and close the door. No need to close it, said Lu Tianyu. If they want to see it, let them see it. Lu Yali was surprised and didn't expect Lu Tianyu to be so aggressive. But if not handled properly, Lu Tianyu may look very ugly. Lu Yali is quite worried. After all, Lu Tianyu is young, handsome, gentle, and a good person. At this moment, Lu Tianyu asked, Wang Depeng, what do you have to say to me about? Wang Depeng smiled slightly and said, Mr. Lu, it's not difficult to guess. I want to leave here. Lu Tianyu exclaimed, are you the only one leaving? Wang Depeng looked at the people on both sides and said, they also want to leave. Lu Tianyu looked at those few people, including Wang Depeng, there were a total of 5. They are all elderly people in the factory, and basically all of them are technical workers. They were brought out by Wang Depeng alone, no wonder they had to leave together. These few people looked at Lu Tianyu, probably wanting to see him make a joke and beg them not to leave. They left, how can those few little karami still work? However, Lu Tianyu slowly said, okay, then you guys should resign. The others were all dumbfounded when they heard it. Chapter 4. Hurry up and leave no one behind, for collection, fresh. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Is it that simple? Lu Tianyu casually released Wang Depeng and the others. This is too outrageous. Does Lu Tianyu not know the value of these few? Wang Depeng's complexion changed from green to purple, and then from purple to black, just like pig liver. Obviously, Wang Depeng's face couldn't hang. Mr. Lu, don't you know what the rest of us do? Lu Tianyu said calmly, no matter what you do, since you want to leave, you won't stay here either. Let's go our separate ways. You, without us, can we have fun here? If I remember correctly, you've been away for many days, isn't the factory still fine? Wang Depeng's face was uncertain as he realized that Lu Tianyu was not as easy to bully as he had imagined. And looking at Lu Tianyu's expression, it was very resolute, not like he was joking. Is he really going to let them go? The employees who followed Wang Depeng looked at each other in shock. Lu Tianyu said, do you have anything else to say? It's nothing, I'll leave. Wang Depeng became anxious and shouted, do you know how much compensation you want to give us? Lu Tianyu turned his head to look at him and asked, how much? You ask Lu Yali, she knows. Lu Yali regained her senses and whispered, boss, Wang Depeng's salary is 15,000 per month. Lu Tianyu glanced at Wang Depeng. This guy's salary is really high. You should know that although this is Xiongzhou New Area, it has not been completed yet. Previously, it was a county town where salaries were generally very low. Even a salary of 5,000 yuan could be considered a decent income. In such a low consumption and low income place, it is indeed a high income to give Wang Depeng 15,000 yuan. The income of the other employees is not low, basically over 8,000 yuan. In this way, Wang Depeng's compensation alone would cost 90,000 yuan. The other few people added up to over 100,000 Chinese yuan. No wonder Wang Depeng is so confident and fearless, thinking he can hold on to Lu Tianyu. This money may not be a big deal for a large enterprise, but it is not a small sum for a small factory. Especially the factory of the Lu family seems to be on the brink of bankruptcy. The compensation from these people is likely to become the last straw that will crush the camel. Wang Depeng watched as Lu Qianyu chuckled, while the other employees who followed him also had a relaxed expression on their faces. They were clearly watching Lu Qianyu's joke. Lu Qianyu said, "Okay, Ali, please give them a specific calculation and report to me how much money is needed. I will sign it." "Ah, okay." Wang Depeng and others were stunned and speechless. I didn't expect Lu Qianyu to agree so easily. What's going on? Does he have that much money? However, Lu Qianyu glanced at Wang Depeng again and said calmly, "Please handle the resignation procedures more efficiently, don't make them wait too long." After speaking, Lu Qianyu left the conference room without hesitation. A group of people remained in place, looking at each other in confusion. Wang Depeng is all dumbfounded. The other people who followed him panicked. "Lao Wang, what should we do?" "Yeah, Depeng, can you tell me what to do now? Mr. Lu is really playing, he really wants us to leave. This is different from what you said." Wang Depeng waved his hand and said in annoyance, "What are you panicking about? Do you really think he can pay the money?" The crowd finally calmed down. "Yeah, the factory is like this, and it's about to collapse. Where can we get around 200,000 yuan to give them?" Wang Depeng patted the table and loudly said to Lu Yali, "Come on, hurry up. If we don't get the money today, we won't leave." Lu Yali snorted coldly and began to follow the process for Wang Depeng and others. But she was also quite uneasy in her heart. Now Mr. Xiaolu has completely torn his face with Wang Depeng and others. If their demands cannot be met, I don't know how long he will be causing trouble here. The key is that too much compensation needs to be paid. Lu Yali is feeling a headache for Lu Qianyu. I don't know if Lu Qianyu can come up with it, or if he's just bluffing and scaring Wang Depeng and others. Lu Yali is not a vegetarian either, so try to minimize the compensation. For example, attendance deductions are not deducted for a day. Other than Wang Depeng, it is impossible for anyone else to give them a 6-month salary. By this calculation, it can be controlled below 150,000 yuan. Although these people are not very satisfied and have some criticisms, Lu Yali has sufficient evidence and they can only accept it. The key is that this money is not small here, it should be enough. Wang Depeng looked at the final compensation amount and said loudly, "All right. That's it, let him pay. I'll see if it can be credited today." Lu Yali didn't say much nonsense either. She asked them to sign the documents and walk out with the forms. There are several employees whispering at the door. Can the boss take out so much money? I see, if we really give it to them, the factory might end up. Why does the boss still agree? There's nothing we can do if we don't agree, it's written in black and white in the contract. If you really want to default, you can also rely on it. Stop making trouble, Wang Depeng is not a vegetarian. Ordinary people dare not provoke him. That's it, give out these money, we all have to drink the wind from the west. The boss will have a solution. What can he do? If the old factory manager were to find a solution. Meanwhile, Lu Yali has entered Lu Qianyu's office. Lu Qianyu is operating something in front of the computer. "Boss, it's already calculated." Lu Qianyu took the order and glanced at it. The organization is very clear, including the names of individuals, years of work experience, compensation amounts, and bank accounts. Not bad. Lu Yali couldn't help but say, "Boss, isn't this money too much? Usually, we can only give it to you for at most 1 month here." Lu Qianyu smiled slightly and said, "It's troublesome to argue back and forth." "Ah. This. Boss. I saw Lu Qianyu operating on the computer a few times. Okay. Ah. The money should be credited. Ah. Lu Yali widened her eyes and said, "Boss. What does that mean? Their money should be credited now." Lu Yali was confused. "I didn't expect Lu Tianyu to handle things so quickly." "Okay, I'll go confirm with Wang Depeng and his team." "Well, go ahead." Lu Yali couldn't help but ask, "Boss, is our unit okay?" Lu Tianyu was stunned for a moment, then understood and laughed. "What problem can there be? It can only be flying into the sky." Meanwhile, in the conference room, Wang Depeng and others are still waiting. "Depeng, are we leaving or not? What are we going to do? Didn't we just say that if the money doesn't arrive, we won't go? Can he receive it today? Such a large sum of money." "That's right, the factory's funds are so tight that we can't even afford it. Where can we go to change money?" Wang Depeng waved his hand and said, "Didn't you see what Lu Tianyu did just now? He was so arrogant that he had to figure it out on his own. Judging from Wang Depeng's point, if he can't get the money, he really doesn't plan to leave." At this moment, Lu Yali came in. Wang Depeng loudly said, "When will you make the payment to us?" Lu Yali glanced at a few people and said, "Please check, it should have already been credited." A few people were stunned. "Has it been credited? So fast?" Wang Depeng was skeptical and quickly went to check his phone. Result: it has really been credited. Why is it so fast? Where did he get the money?" Lu Yali snorted coldly. "The boss said that the factory is not short of money." As soon as this statement was made, Wang Depeng and several others exploded. What? You're telling a joke? The factory is like this, why not lack money?" Lu Yali didn't know how to respond either. She had always felt that the factory was going to collapse, but judging from Lu Tianyu's performance, it didn't seem like it. Lu Tianyu also said he wants to fly with Lu Yali. At this moment, there was movement outside. A few people looked out the window and were very surprised. "I saw several large trucks driving into the yard. Those trucks are clean and their wheels are all shiny, making them high-end heavy-duty trucks at first glance." Wang Depeng couldn't help but ask, "Lu Yali, what kind of goods are you here to pull?" Lu Yali shook her head, but she was not sure. Chapter 5. Zhengdong runs over, seeking collection, fresh. You are listening at novelfull.audio. However, a few days ago, Lu Yali did indeed see such a truck driving in. Only once. She thought she was here to pick up goods. But upon careful consideration, I have never seen such a truck enter or exit the factory before. Strange, what are they doing here? There is always a very eerie feeling. Besides the truck, another SUV came in. At this moment, everyone noticed that someone had walked over. Surprisingly, it's the boss Lu Tianyu. Next, a few people got off the SUV. One of them walked ahead and shook hands with Lu Tianyu. Everyone's eyes suddenly widened. The person who got off the car looks so familiar. Yeah, I think I've seen him somewhere before. Suddenly someone shouted, "I know, isn't that Zhengdong?" The others just realized it. Really like Zhengdong. Who is Zhengdong? Which village's secretary? You're really a sixth grader. Zhengdong is the leader of Huayao Group. Oh, I'm using the Huayao phone. I remember, I saw him online and I said, "Why do you look familiar?" Did he say that he was far ahead? That's him, that's what he said. At this moment, Wang Depeng waved his hand and said, "Don't interrupt me, is that the point?" The point is, why is Zhengdong here? Lu Yali said, "Do you still need to ask?" It must be with our factory. No, we have cooperation. Wang Depeng stared at him with a bullseye and said, "Lu Yali, stop talking nonsense. How can Huayao cooperate with a small factory? Why don't you mention cooperating with the United Nations?" Lu Yali was not convinced and said, "So what did you say he came over for?" The other employees kept talking incessantly. Zhengdong must have gotten lost. Nonsense, he may be trying to acquire our factory. What's the use of acquiring our small and dilapidated factory? Building a villa. Yeah, he just came for a walk. Wang Depeng is speechless. These guys are talking nonsense. Zhengdong is definitely not someone who fools around. But Huayao Group is one of the top large enterprises in China and ranks among the top in the world. They definitely can't cooperate with a small workshop factory. But why did Zhengdong come running over? And Lu Tianyu's condition is indeed extraordinary. He was chatting and laughing with Zhengdong, like a big shot, really capable of pretending. Is Lu Tianyu really not lacking in money? Wang Depeng had a hint of regret and should not have rashly resigned. Although he does have the skills, as he gets older, he may not necessarily want them elsewhere. Even if one could work elsewhere, they may not necessarily receive such a high salary. Damn it, what a mistake. At the same time, Lu Tianyu was chatting and exchanging ideas with the visitors in the yard. The visitors are really the group led by Zhengdong. This is the second meeting between Lu Tianyu and Zhengdong. Lu Tianyu said, "Mr. Yu, aren't you in the Magic City? When did you come here?" Zhengdong waved his hand and said, "We came directly by plane. The airport is not far from here, it's very convenient." At this moment, Lu Tianyu was still confused. Didn't we all agree with Zhengdong over the phone to have someone come over tomorrow to pick up the goods? Why did you come today? It was Zhengdong who personally came over. The orders for Huayao mobile phones are rising too rapidly now, and both Zhengdong and Lu Xiaolong can't sit still. The second batch of chips must be prepared as soon as possible. When the two of them combined, Lu Xiaolong was still guarding the Magic City, while Zhengdong personally flew over to watch the chip shipment. They have been waiting for a long time in this battle, but they cannot lose. Zhengdong awkwardly explained his purpose of coming. Lu Tianyu expressed understanding. "Mr. Yu, let's talk inside." Zhengdong nodded and looked around at the situation. To be honest, if it weren't for the previous batch of chips being pulled away from here, Zhengdong would definitely not believe that such a rundown small factory could produce advanced chips. The people who came with him also had an incredulous expression on their faces, whispering behind them. "This place is really dilapidated. Yeah, is the chip really coming out here? It's impossible. Could it be something wrong? Don't be a dragon. Don't talk nonsense, it may just be a disguise. Yeah, the more broken the exterior looks, the less likely it is to be detected. The people brought by Zhengdong are all confidants among the confidants. They are fine no matter what they say in their own circle, and have been strictly prohibited from being leaked. After all, everything related to chips is confidential. Yingjiang is searching for various forces to determine the source of Huayao 5G advanced chips. Now is a critical moment for the recovery of Huayao's mobile phone business. We must not leak the source of chips too early to avoid unnecessary complications. Zhengdong asked others to wait outside, and he followed Lu Tianyu alone to the office. Lu Yali is very clever and has come over to prepare the tea. Lu Tianyu nodded at her and said, "You go ahead and get busy first." After Lu Yali left, Lu Tianyu and Zhengdong sat opposite each other. Zhengdong couldn't wait any longer and said, "Mr. Lu, have the goods come out yet?" Lu Tianyu smiled bitterly and said, "Mr. Yu, you just put down the phone earlier, it's really not that fast." Zhengdong smiled awkwardly. "It's a bit urgent." Lu Tianyu stood up, opened the curtains of the inner window, and said, "Mr. Yu, take a look. The machine hasn't stopped for 24 hours. Zhengdong quickly stood up and stretched his neck to look. "The more I look at it, the more I feel shocked and unbelievable. You can see the production line from the window. Zhengdong is the first to see the chip production line here. This production line is much smaller than expected. I didn't expect such advanced 5G chips to come out of this place. But those machines and equipment do look very special. The volume is not large, but the precision is very high. Mr. Liu, where do these machines come from? What brand? Zhengdong knew that these might be confidential and added, do you not have American technology? Lu Tianyu smiled slightly and said, Mr. Yu, don't worry, all the production line equipment will not have any connection with the United States. Chapter 6. Urgent failure, severe shortage of chip capacity. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Zhengdong turned his head and glanced at Lu Tianyu, knowing that he was not joking, let alone casually speaking. In fact, everything in front of him cannot tolerate Zhengdong not believing. If what Lu Tianyu said is false, then he cannot produce advanced 5G chips. You should know, this is an advanced process of 7 nanometers. Normally, advanced chips can only be produced through the lithography machines of ASML in windmill country. But that kind of lithography machine is expensive. Even low-end DUV lithography machines can be sold for tens of millions of US dollars, which is not something that an ordinary small business can afford. Besides, this place doesn't seem like a small business, it's more like a small workshop or factory. Developing a lithography machine with such strength is like a fantasy. Of course, it is not normal for such a workshop factory to establish such advanced production lines and be able to produce advanced 5G chips normally. It's totally out of line. His mother. Mr. Liu, Brother Liu, are all the production lines here now? Yes, it's all here, all the processes are completed inside. Zhengdong carefully looked at the running machinery and equipment again. Efficient, natural, and even smooth operation. Almost no noise can be heard. Zhengdong is not an outsider, he himself comes from a science and engineering class. Later on, Zhengdong specialized in this field and saw that there were not 100 chip production lines he had seen, but only 70.80. But I have never seen this style before. What kind of lithography machine, etching machine cannot distinguish, let alone the packaging steps? What does this mean? This indicates that the integration level of this wafer production line is very high. Moreover, from here, one can hardly see the figures of the employees. This also indicates that the automation level of the production line is very high. It's really scary. Evil door. Unbelievable, unbelievable. How did Lu Tianyu achieve it? Zhengdong wanted to ask, but he didn't say anything. He is well aware that this may involve trade secrets, technical secrets, and cannot be casually disclosed to the public. As the saying goes, do not do to others what you do not want. Zhengdong doesn't do anything sneaky. Besides, knowing it may not necessarily be a good thing for Huayao Group. Lu Tianyu was not in a hurry either, so he let Zhengdong see enough while he took a few sips of tea. At this moment, Zhengdong walked back. Obviously, he has a lot to say. Brother Liu, how is the current production capacity? Give me an accurate number. Lu Tianyu hesitated for a moment and said, how long is the exact number? How much can be produced in a month? After thinking for a moment, Lu Tianyu said truthfully, if we look at the current situation, the monthly production capacity is about 1 to 1.5 million chips. Zhengdong shook his head and said, it's not enough at all, it's far from enough. This production capacity is indeed not high, and now the order volume of Huayao's flagship 5G phones has exceeded 15 million units. The order volume is still rapidly increasing and is likely to exceed the level of 30 to 40 million in the future. If we follow the current chip production capacity, it would be a drop in the bucket. It will be several years since the buyer received the phone, and once they receive it, they will fall behind. How can that work? Zhengdong is starting to have a headache again. He looked up and said, Mr. Liu, Brother Liu, think of a way to expand our production capacity. Lu Tianyu smiled and said, Mr. Yu, don't worry. I am trying to find ways to improve efficiency and strive to meet your needs as soon as possible. Okay. What do we need? We can all think of ways to get money, people, and resources. What Zhengdong said was not polite, but sincere. As the saying goes, problems that can be solved with money are not problems. As a leading high-tech enterprise in China, Huayao Group has many readily available resources. If Lu Tianyu needs to use these resources, Zhengdong will definitely arrange it immediately without hesitation. Lu Tianyu said, I don't need it yet. If there's a need, I'll definitely speak up. Zhengdong nodded and looked at Lu Tianyu's expression again, not as if he was saying polite words. Zhengdong looks rough on the outside, but his heart is as delicate as a hair, and he is still quite good at judging people. Although Lu Tianyu is young, after 2 encounters with him, Zhengdong feels that the other person is very stable, a kind of stability that transcends his age. What Lu Tianyu said should have weight. Zhengdong said again, let me ask one more question. When will it be possible to make the necessary adjustments? Lu Tianyu thought for a moment and said, let's just take a few days. We should be able to further increase our production capacity. I can't say exactly how much we can improve, but we can only do our best. Okay, then it's up to you. Zhengdong also said that there are several chips waiting to be produced. According to legend, the Ascend 920 is an advanced AI chip that can rival NVIDIA's A100 chip. You should know that an A100 chip can be sold for over $100,000, which is much more valuable than gold. But even if the companies in China have money, they won't sell it yet, so they can only sell the castrated version of A800 here. This is part of Eagle Sauce's suppression of China. Anyway, Huayao must bite off this big piece of meat. Although Huayao has other channels to produce chips, its production capacity is still seriously insufficient. If there is spare production capacity on Lu Tianyu's side, it would be a great thing. In addition, each chip for TV smart screens, routers, smartwatches, and smart headphones requires production capacity. 100 useless things are waiting to be revived. Huayao Group has been suppressed for 4 years, and now it is ambitious to reclaim everything it has lost. Lu Tianyu nodded and said, don't worry, Mr. Yu. I will fully cooperate. Zhengdong patted Lu Tianyu's shoulder and said no more. Lu Tianyu said, by the way, Mr. Yu, are you here today to stay? Zhengdong chuckled and said, I booked a hotel in the county town, but I won't leave today. Good guy, Zhengdong is going to keep an eye on Lu Tianyu's work. No wonder Zhengdong is so anxious. Chips are really tight, and we must race against time at critical moments. As soon as that batch of chips comes out, they have to be taken to the assembly plant. Lu Tianyu said, Mr. Yu, I'll be hosting tonight. Let's have a drink. Chapter 7. Building a super wafer factory, for collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Zhengdong quickly waved his hands and refused. No, Brother Lu, your time is too precious. I can't disturb you. I have a meeting tonight, just take a few bites of instant noodles. Good guy, Zhengdong's abacus can be heard on the moon. Lu Tianyu smiled bitterly and said, Mr. Yu, you're working overtime according to me. The donkeys in the production team don't even have this kind of experience. Zhengdong chuckled and said, I didn't say that. Brother Lu, can we put the truck in your yard for now? Is that okay? No problem. Zhengdong stood up and walked out in a lively manner. This is to give Lu Tianyu more time to adjust the wafer production line. Lu Tianyu quickly followed behind and escorted Zhengdong out. At this moment, several people gathered around the door whispering. Is that Zhengdong? Did you mistake the person? Sleeping slot. It's Zhengdong himself. What did Zhengdong come over for? He wouldn't really talk to the factory about cooperation, would he? Stop talking nonsense, what can we cooperate with the factory for? A circuit board. At this moment, a young man walked over. This young man's name is Zhao Guangming. He used to be a small worker, but now he has become a skilled expert. Lu Tianyu trusts him very much. However, this young man has a relatively introverted personality and doesn't say much, making him appear transparent in everyone's eyes. Zhao Guangming glanced at everyone and was about to walk inside. The crowd stopped him. Xiaoming, you know a lot. What is you Zhengdong doing here? Zhao Guangming glanced outside and said, it should be about cooperation. The crowd widened their eyes and said, Xiaoming, don't talk nonsense. What kind of cooperation can Huayao Group talk to us about? Zhao Guangming replied calmly, I can't say it. Believe it or not, it's up to you. Speaking, Zhao Guangming is about to leave. Someone stopped him again. This is Wang Depeng. They have received the money but are not willing to leave. Zhao Guangming, how do I know that Huayao Group can have a relationship with the factory? Zhao Guangming said, you haven't come for a long time, how would you know? Well. You're not saying we just started working together recently, are you? Who believes it? Zhao Guangming said, I don't know the specifics either. You can think whatever you want. After speaking, Zhao Guangming walked in. Zhao Guangming is one of the few people in the factory who knows what Lu Tianyu is doing. The workshop factory has completely changed. The exterior is still like that, but the interior has long been a high-tech manufacturing enterprise. And they manufacture advanced process wafers and chips. He is also a smart person, and he knows that this matter should not be talked about recklessly at the moment, otherwise it will ruin the big deal. But Zhao Guangming's attitude still made Wang Depeng and others more anxious. Considering the state of Lu Tianyu, the factory doesn't seem to be going bankrupt. At this moment, Lu Tianyu walked back. Wang Depeng quickly walked up with the people and put on a close relationship. Boss, Mr. Lu, we've considered it for a while and don't want to leave. Yes, Director Lu, we were reckless and careless just now. We didn't think clearly. I'll refund the money to you. We want to go to work, we'll go to work immediately. Lu Tianyu didn't even look at Wang Depeng and didn't look up, saying, you've all finished your resignation. If it's time to leave, then leave. In the eyes of everyone, Lu Tianyu walked into the office building. Wang Depeng and others were stunned and speechless. Lu Tianyu has no intention of dealing with these people, he still has a lot of things to do. He came to the office and opened his laptop. This computer is connected to the production line system and can be easily adjusted. After crossing over, Lu Tianyu discovered that he had the ability to easily implement various ideas. For example, this wafer production line is made from sand into 12-inch wafers, which are then etched and implanted with billions of transistors. Further cutting and finally packaging into chips. The entire process is so complex that it is unimaginable. This impressive wafer production line was completed and put into operation by Lu Tianyu in just a few months. Speaking of it, those who are knowledgeable in the field will definitely jump at it. How could it be? But that's how it really came out. This is Lu Tianyu's ability. But it's not without a cost. The cost is simple, it's just one word. Money. As long as money is invested, a large amount of money can accelerate the landing of technology projects. The larger the project, the more money needs to be invested. The more money invested, the faster the project will be implemented. Lu Tianyu opened the operation panel of the wafer production line and began adjusting various values. Wafer process. 7.28 nanometers, wafer size. 12 inches, wafer production line capacity. Daily production of 100 pieces, yield. 87% for 7 nanometers, 100 wafers. Can be cut into 50,000 chips. This is calculated based on a yield rate of 100%. The yield of the 7 nanometer chip is 87%, which is 43,500 chips. The monthly production capacity of 7nm chips is 1.3 million. Lu Tianyu has two things to do now. First, we need to adjust the production values and strive to improve the yield of chip manufacturing. Invest more money, a large sum of money, and expand the scale of the production line. It's time to showcase our strength. If done well, you can invest less money. It took Lu Tianyu 2 hours to finalize the production data for the new set. Looking at the chip production performance again, the yield rate has finally increased to 95%. It has increased by 8 percentage points. If someone in the industry witnessed such a scene with their own eyes, they would definitely be shocked and confused. 7 nanometers is an advanced process, with a yield rate of over 80%. Increasing it by another 1% requires tremendous effort. And Lu Tianyu only made such great progress in just 2 hours. You should know that the most advanced process technology in the world is Shimonoseki, which has a yield of 95% in the 7-nanometer process. With a wave of his finger, Lu Tianyu managed to equalize. And there is also the possibility of improvement. Lu Tianyu will not adjust production data for now. No matter how hard he tries, the effect will not be too significant. Don't waste your time, invest money. There are currently 600 million in Lu Tianyu's account. 2 payments from Huayao. If Lu Tianyu's father, Lu Xuan, saw so much money in his account, he would definitely feel like he was dreaming. But these funds need to be invested in the expansion of the wafer production line, which is actually not too much. After pondering for a moment, Lu Tianyu waved his hand and directly invested 500 million yuan. We must build a super wafer factory. Chapter 8. The Anger of the Minister of Commerce of Eagle Sauce, for collection. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Spending such a large amount of money in an instant really made Lu Tianyu feel a pain. But such a large investment is also necessary. With the demand of Huayao Group, the new production line can be doubled to make a profit. But Lu Tianyu also faces a problem. Expanding the production line requires land, and more importantly, factory buildings. Especially building factories requires a cycle. Based on the current situation, there is not enough time. Fortunately, there are many abandoned factories nearby, so it's not too difficult to purchase a ready-made one. It shouldn't be too late today, let's go and see tomorrow. Lu Tianyu made up his mind and walked to the window, watching the production line run more smoothly and the shipping speed noticeably accelerate. His heart also calmed down a lot. Lu Tianyu took a break and picked up his tablet to watch news and videos. Lu Tianyu was taken aback. The full screen is filled with messages from Huayao's flagship phone. Even Weibo hot searches account for 2. The titles all look very scary. Huayao 5G phone king returns. Friendly business cowards, this day has arrived. Huayao's Kirin chip has returned. Huayao swears to reclaim everything he has lost, which will make his friends feel cruel. Who has been most affected by the announcement of the return of Huayao 5G smartphones? The topic related to Huayao is really hot. You should know that the days when fruit phones are on sale are not far away now. As usual, topics and videos related to fruits should be everywhere. It's good now, almost all the pages are occupied by Huayao. After browsing for a while, I couldn't find any information related to the fruit phone. Lu Tianyu realized that the order for Huayao's flagship mobile phone MT60 should be even more exaggerated than expected. Subsequently, Lu Tianyu also found that there were many discussions about Huayao phones on social media platforms such as Weibo, Tushio, Xiaopa Station, and Zhihu. Even started arguing directly in the topic. The focus of the debate almost always points to one word. Chips. Great, Huayao's 5G chip has come out and finally solved the bottleneck problem. This indicates that advanced 5G chips have been domestically produced. Complete localization is impossible, and the lithography machine cannot pass this level. That's right, I don't know what's boiling online, but I still need to use ASML's lithography machine. It's like you know the inside story, even if you use Asmol's lithography machine, as long as Eagle Sauce doesn't control it. Many people don't know that some of Asmol's DUV lithography machines don't have much Eagle Sauce technology and can be used according to regulations. Put the lithography machine aside, who exactly produced the chip? You still need to ask, it must be Huaxin Technology. I also think that only Huaxin Technology can produce chips with a diameter of 7 nanometers in mainland China. No, if it's produced by Huaxin Technology, why doesn't Eagle Sauce know? Well done confidentiality work. In addition to intense discussions among netizens, major bloggers and UP hosts are also eager to participate in the discussion. Spread from the technology circle to the entire social circle. Of course, tech bloggers need to know more about this matter. The mainstream argument also generally believes that Huayao's new flagship 5G chip is from Huaxin Technology. This is also very normal. Besides this wafer foundry, I really can't think of anyone who has the ability to do this. However, there are still a few bloggers who believe that there must be hidden secrets involved. One of the bloggers, Xiongzhou, said, although Huayao did not specify the source of the chips and many people believe it was the work of Huaxin Technology, my intuition tells me that Huaxin Technology cannot do this. Xiongzhou is an expert in the communication industry. He further explained that all of Huaxin Technology's high-end production equipment comes from developed countries such as Zhengdong, Windmill, and Japan. These devices are all remotely monitored, not to mention secretly producing advanced chips. Even if they move their position, they will be remotely locked and turned into scrap. Xiongzhou is a knowledgeable person and his words make a lot of sense. But there are still many people who think it's not that complicated. It's produced by Huaxin Technology. Apart from Huaxin Technology having N+1 and N+2 technologies that can produce 7-nanometer chips using DUV lithography machines, there is really no other way. There was nothing wrong with what both sides said, and neither could convince the other, so a debate broke out on social media. Lu Tianyu finds it funny. As long as Huayao's phone doesn't explain or provide an answer, I believe we will argue for a while. No one will reveal it from Lu Tianyu's side. He himself is a small workshop and factory here, and Lu Tianyu did not involve too many people. Even if I participate, I don't know everything. What can we do if we reveal it? Who would believe that world-class advanced 5G chips would come from such a small workshop? It's totally out of line, his mother. Meanwhile, Eagle Sauce, Federal Department of Commerce. There was a loud commotion in the office of the Minister of Commerce, as if someone had dropped a cup. The situation is indeed like this, and Minister of Commerce Raymonta is getting angry again. Starting from yesterday, this is already the 4th time, no, the 5th time. Even Raymonta's assistant Lucy dared not enter, fearing that something might hit her head. It's not easy to see a doctor here in Zhengdong. Even if you have medical insurance, you have to queue up. Watching the emergency department is even more agonizing. After waiting for half a day, the blood on the head may dry up and scab up. Lucy has had similar experiences before. As for the others, they have long been hiding far away. Lucy could clearly hear the beautiful voice of Raymonta constantly coming from inside. Damn it! Damn it! Beachy! Shama Beachy. After a moment, there was no movement in the office, and Lucy breathed a sigh of relief. Raymonta's anger should have dissipated. However, the office door opened. Raymonta revealed half of her body, which frightened Lucy and she quickly stood up. Ms. Raymonta, what can I do for you? Raymonta's face turned pale and blue, looking very ugly. He said, go call Luca and Jackson over and say we'll have a meeting. Okay, Ms. Raymonta. Luca and Jackson are both important staff members of the Ministry of Commerce, one clever at the top. Raymonta was angry for 2 days and finally remembered to discuss with them. Chapter 9. Huaxin Technology. Do you not know the vastness of heaven and earth? You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Raymonta sat on the chair in the office again. This is a large-sized chair with massage function, making it very comfortable to sit on. But Raymonta doesn't want to pay attention to this high-end massage chair. Because this is Chinese goods, Mehdi, dismantle that. At the thought of this, Lamona couldn't help but feel angry. Damn it, how can Chinese people do anything? Why can't this thing be made in Eagle Sauce America and slave country? What are those guys doing when they were young? You can't always make sushi, can you? Although sushi is delicious, it is also too disgusting. Can't we do some high-tech? Speaking of which, this chair is really comfortable. Raymonta involuntarily turned on the massage function, closed her eyes, and enjoyed the comfort of her back being constantly impacted. Raymonta is not easy either, just returned from South Vietnam. Before that, she went to Huaxia and was invited by the senior management of Huaxia. Originally, Raymonta was quite happy. Those stinky Chinese people finally enlightened and prepared to accept the gospel of the great Americans. Therefore, before setting off, Raymonta gave some thoughtful advice to the Chinese people and the Huayao Group. Chinese people should not think about high-tech, they should be humble. This is not your job. There is no need for Chinese people to make chips. Our chips from Eagle Sauce America can definitely make it enjoyable for you to use as long as Huayao abandons high-tech research and development. We agree to relax their control under the spotlight. Raymonta, who spoke these few words, felt like she had reached the pinnacle of her life. You should know that there are not many people who can teach Chinese people a lesson now. Those useless guys are far inferior to her Gina Raymonta. Raymonta originally thought it was good when she arrived in Huaxia, with various cheers and homecoming. Unexpectedly, it was the damn Huayao who coldly stabbed her. Huayao has actually released the latest flagship phone, and the key is still the 5G phone. Fake. Too much pain. Making yarn. She was forced to become the spokesperson for Huayao's flagship phone, Raymonta. At this moment, Raymonta looked up again and saw the picture displayed on the computer. That picture has already gone viral on Twitter. It's spreading everywhere, especially in her official message area of Raymonta. I am Lamona, and today I am endorsing Huayao Mobile. Above it, there is a bilingual version of Huaying. Fake. Sam Oliver's knows shit. Ramona's anger, which had just dissipated, gathered again. She even wants to smash the computer screen to pieces. Huayao. You wait, I'll let you taste her Raymonta's tricks when you come back. At this moment, the door opened. Luca and Jackson came in. Dear Ms. Raymonta, we are here. Ms. Raymonta, you are still so beautiful. These two people are think tanks from the Ministry of Commerce, knowledgeable and very intelligent. Of course, it's also very handsome. Raymonta's face softened slightly and he said slowly, Huayao has released a new flagship phone, which is actually a 5G phone. Do you know? Luca and Jackson exchanged a glance and nodded one after another. Luca said, Madam, we have all seen it. Jackson said, there is a lot of news about the novice Huayao. Raymonta stood up and picked up the coffee cup on the table. At first glance, it is empty. Lucy, go pour me a cup of coffee. Lucy quickly came in and left with a coffee cup in hand. At this point, Raymonta said, I want to know, how did Huayao get the 5G mobile phone chip? With a loud bang. Raymonta patted the table and her hands hurt, saying, who made that chip? Luca and Jackson looked at each other again, each revealing a wise gaze. Jackson said, Madam, I think it's the work of Huaxin Technology. Raymonta frowned slightly and said, Huaxin Technology. Do they dare? Jackson said, although their production equipment is all under our surveillance, the Chinese people are very cunning and may find a way to bypass it. Raymonta frowned even deeper and said, but we have already warned them that if they dare to contract advanced chips for Huayao, they will be punished. Luca nodded in agreement and said, Ms. Raymonta, although that's the case, if it were the official instructions from China to do so, they probably wouldn't dare to disobey. Raymonta felt that what the two of them said made sense. Does Huaxin have the ability to produce advanced 5G chips? You know, they haven't received the EUV lithography machine. Luca said, in theory, DUV lithography machines can achieve a process technology of 7 nanometers through multiple exposures. Jackson said, however, the yield may not be high. Raymonta's face softened and he said, is the yield not high? Are you saying that their production costs will be higher? Jackson said, compared to the process of TSMC, the cost is much higher. Luca said, at the current price of Huayao's new flagship phone, you may not be able to make money, and you may even lose money. Raymonta laughed heartily, it was a gentle breeze that dispelled the haze. I'll just say, Huayao can't break through the restrictions we imposed, any struggle they make is in vain. Raymonta wouldn't be blindly happy either. After thinking for a few seconds, he said, I'll find someone to contact Huaxin now and ask if they still want to continue operating. Luca and Jackson nodded one after another. Undoubtedly, he is the Secretary of Commerce of Great Eagle Sauce America, swift and imposing. It seems that Huaxin Technology is going to have bad luck. I saw Raymonta pick up the fruit phone on the table and make a phone call. This fruit phone is specially designed to connect to the hotline of Eagle Sauce's U.S. Department of Internal Affairs. Hello Charlie, please contact the boss of Huaxin Technology and ask him to explain Huayao's new 5G advanced chip. Which Huaxin Technology? It's the Wafer company of Huaxiao. Damn it, Charlie, are you working hard? Yes, let them talk back immediately. Right now, I'll get the answer within half an hour. Raymonta hung up the phone, seeming to feel nauseous. Huaxin Technology is actually willing to disobey the orders of the Ministry of Commerce of Xinjiang, I don't know the height of the earth. Chapter 10. Raymonta's order, go grab your phone, ... You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Raymonta's face now showed a relaxed expression. If that damn 5G chip was manufactured by Huaxin Technology, then it would be easy to handle. As long as we strangle Huaxin Technology, this chip will never be produced again. Is it easy to strangle Huaxin Technology? It's simply too simple. According to Raymonta's past experience, as long as there is a slight threat, Huaxin Technology will have to give in. Raymonta was very down to earth, so she had a casual conversation with Luca and Jackson, and made plans to have a big meal together at the Chinese restaurant across from the Ministry of Commerce at noon. Luca, last time I heard you say that restaurant has a new dish on its shelves. Yes, madam, it's called fish-flavored shredded pork. Oh, that sounds great. Let's go try it together, Jackson. What do you think? Ms. Raymonta, I still prefer Storm Latin. I really like the peanuts inside. Cute Jackson, that's not called Storm Latin, that's called Gongbao routing. Yes, it's Gongbao routing. I'm sorry, Ms. Raymonta. Raymonta's mood improved, which made Luca and Jackson secretly breathe a sigh of relief. This Minister of Commerce is not easy to serve. At that moment, Raymonta's phone placed on her desk began to vibrate. It was called from the Ministry of Internal Affairs. Raymonta picked up her phone and said, there was a response so quickly, Charlie's efficiency is good. Raymonta answered the phone. Hello, Charlie, have we reached out to Huaxin? Okay, you tell me, I'll listen. Suddenly, Raymonta's face changed. What? Luca and Jackson were taken aback and glanced at each other. What's going on here? Raymonta sternly asked again, what are you saying? Huaxin said it's not related to them. Are you sure you've explained it clearly to them? Upon hearing this, Luca and Jackson couldn't help but stand up with an uneasy expression on their faces. Raymonta's voice became harsher and her face became increasingly ugly. Obviously, she received an unwanted answer from Charlie in the Ministry of Internal Affairs. Damn it. Charlie. I think you didn't communicate well with Huaxin. Yes. I want a definite answer, and then I'll go and ask if that damn, fog-scented chip was actually made by Huaxin. What? You think what they said may be true? Charlie, see your ghost. I don't believe that's true. Can you tell me, besides Huaxin Technology, which other company in Huaxia has the ability to manufacture that damn chip? Listen, Charlie, go investigate again and mobilize the informants from the Ministry of Internal Affairs in China. Yes, all informants, go investigate and inquire. No matter what method you use, you must find out for me. After finishing speaking, Raymonta pressed the hang-up button heavily and threw her phone onto the sofa. Two Ministry of Commerce think tanks were at a loss, dumbfounded, and didn't dare to speak out. Raymonta calmed down for a moment and said, Charlie said that Huaxin denies any connection with Huayao's chips. Luca couldn't help but say, maybe Charlie made a mistake. Jackson said, Ms. Raymonta, the person in charge of Huaxin may be lying. Raymonta waved her hand and said, I know, I will have someone investigate again. Now let's think about it again. If that 5G chip really has nothing to do with Huaxin Technology, is there any other company that can do it? Luca and Jackson were momentarily confused. Although they are just think tanks and not technology experts, they do know a lot. In the eyes of the two, there is no second company in China besides Huaxin Technology that can produce chips up to 7 nanometers. Raymonta's eyes became sharp as he said, could it be done by TSMC? Luca and Jackson shook their heads at the same time. Madam, it's impossible. TSMC dare not do that. Raymonta said coldly, are you so certain of Xiongzhou Electric's loyalty? Don't forget, Xiongzhou Electric was also established by Chinese people. Luca said, Dear Ms. Raymonta, the senior management and staff of TSMC are mostly American citizens. Jackson nodded in agreement and said, yes, they can be said to be his own people. Raymonta snorted coldly and said, childish, too childish. They're not white people, they'll always be yellow people. Do you understand? Luca and Jackson stopped talking. Raymonta makes a certain point. The management team of Island Semiconductor Manufacturing Corporation, TSMC, is almost entirely Chinese, which can be considered a major hidden danger. But then again, it is evident that some yellow people are more loyal to the Great Eagle America than white people. Moreover, these two think tanks do not believe that Xiongzhou Electric dares to have a relationship with Huayao. This is not a death, it is a great death. If we really want to do this, even the owners of TSMC have to go see God. But Raymonta is in a fit of anger, so it's better not to say anything against it. Luca said, Madam, we don't need to consider who made this chip for now. Raymonta glanced at Luca and said, Luca, you caught my attention. Keep talking. Luca nodded and said, as long as we can prove that Huayao's 5G chip used the technology of our Eagle America, then there is a reason to ban it. Raymonta's eyes lit up. Luca's statement is very vague, but it also makes sense. Huayao is a company that has been completely sanctioned by Eagle America. If it uses American technology, it violates the sanctions clause. Eagle America can demand that countries around the world ban Huayao's products. Dear Luca, you are so clever. Luca smiled slightly and said, what we need to do now is get a flashy. What kind of phone? Jackson said, MT60. Yes, let's get one, no, 10 is enough. Send the phone to the technical department for disassembly, and we will definitely find useful information for us. Raymonta was overjoyed and picked up her phone from the sofa, dialing a number. Hello, Charlie. Me. Raymonta. You go find the informant from Huaxia. Yes, all the informants, go by Huayao's phone. Yes, Huayao's new phone. What? Can't buy it. Why? Damn it, what's there to grab a phone for? Let your people grab it. I don't care what you do, you can grab it on the street.